Hello all, welcome back to the BioRocks channel. Today we'll be learning about the histology or the transsection of your testis. Okay, so I'll be straight away entering into the topic. So the thing that you're seeing on the screen is going to be the testis, which is being descent into the scrotal sacs here, okay, out of the abdominal cavity. So this is going to be the scrotal sacs. If you look at the testis, it's been covered by an outermost layer that you can see here as a light lavender just here. The brown that you're seeing here is a cremaster muscle, okay? And just behind that, you're having the outermost layer, which is being called as the tunica vaginalis, the parietal layer. And later you are seeing the tunica vaginalis, which is a visceral layer. And later comes the innermost layer, which is being called as tunica albuginea. I want to just notice here, children, this particular layer is going to be the parietal and the visceral layer that actually runs only in the anterior side. But posterior side, there are no such coverings over the testis here. And this is actually the albuginea, that is, the vaginalis that I'm speaking about, the tunica vaginalis is running only in the anterior side, but not on the posterior side. This is actually the peritoneal lining which has dropped down during the descent of the testis. Okay, and I just want you to see these septa which are being formed here, which is dividing the testis into multiple lobules, and each lobule is going to have some structures like seminiferous tubules, and these seminiferous tubules are going to what you call is they are going to actually produce some straight tubules, and these straight tubules of all these seminiferous tubules from the different lobules join together to form rated testis, and they give rise to these tubules called as epididymis. Okay, sorry, the vasa efferentia, what we call as vasa efferentia. Okay, and these vasa efferentia get along and they enter into this structure which is being called as epididymis. So we are going to learn about all these structures in detail. So for that, children, I will be entering into the topics now by giving you the details regarding this, by explaining you point wise. So the topic today that we are dealing is going to be the histology. So we are dealing with histology of testis. So as I told you, your testis is being covered by three layers. The outermost layer is being called as tunica vaginalis. Tunica vaginalis. What is this tunica vaginalis? Vaginalis is none other than the downgrowth of the downgrowth of peritoneum, peritoneal lining, peritoneal lining of abdominal cavity, of your abdominal cavity. And tunica vaginalis runs only in the anterior. Okay, this is also important. This is a incomplete peritoneum. It's an incomplete peritoneum. Incomplete peritoneum. This is what I want you to remember. And just remember, children, the second most, you all know that the tunica vaginalis is of parietal, outer parietal, and inner visceral. Okay, and just covering the testis internally, that is, if this is the testis, the one which is covering up out is going to be the tunica vaginalis. This is this way, right? Only in the anterior. Later that we are seeing here is going to be the tunica. The next layer is albuginea, which is going to exactly covering up your testis. This is this way. It's covering up your testis. Okay. So we are having the next, which is the actual covering on your testis, which is going to be tunica albuginea. Tunica albuginea. This is a fibrous connective tissue. This is a fibrous connective tissue. Okay, it is an actual covering, children. It's an actual covering, and this is actually extending inside the testis. Okay, as septa like this. It is actually extending inside the testis as septa. Tunica albuginea. So this is, it extends inside in form of septa. The form of septa. Dividing your, dividing what? Dividing your testis into multiple lobules. Right? So where are the lobules here? These all are the lobules that you can see. So it is dividing the testis into multiple lobules, children. But internally, even inside, you have another layer also, which is having a rich supply of blood vessels, which is being called as a tunica vasculosa. Even internally, what we have is we are having another inner lining, and that inner lining is going to be the tunica vasculosa. Okay, this is what, and this is going to be having a supply of good blood vessels. Okay, these are the layers, coverings over your testis, children. Now coming on to, when I speak about these lobules, I spoke about the lobules. So each lobule, children, each lobule is going to have multiple tubules. Okay, they are going to have these tubules, and these tubules here are going to be actually uh, they are going to be around, like, each testis, one testis is going to have at least how many of the tubules? They are going to be around about 900 seminiferous tubules, and these tubules are none other than the seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules. If you look at these seminiferous tubules, children, I have to say you that, for instance, if this is going to be the cross section of your seminiferous tubule, it is being lined by cuboidal germinal epithelial tissue. Okay, it's cuboidal germinal epithelial tissue. Cuboidal germinal epithelium. Cuboidal germinal epithelium. It's been lined up by. And these are the ones actually where you can see that the specialized, there are these specialized cells inside the seminiferous tubules, and these seminiferous tubules are having these specialized cells here, and these specialized cells which are forming up here are going to be the Sertoli cells. Sertoli. Sertoli cells. Okay, these Sertoli cells are otherwise being called as nursing cells or nurse cells, or children, we can even call them as subtenticular cells. Subtenticular cells. Okay, these are nurse cells because they are going to nourish sperms. So we call them as Sertoli cells. Besides this, they have another function that is going to be, they are going to secrete uh, androgen, androgen binding protein, androgen binding protein, and this androgen binding protein is going to togetherly with testosterone, togetherly togetherly with testosterone, what they do is they are going to promote, the function of both of them is going to be, they are going to promote the sperm production. They are going to promote the sperm production. This is important. So these are your Sertoli cells which are being present. And remember children, in between the Sertoli cells, there are n number of cells here, and these cells are none other than your spermatogonia. Okay, they are the spermatogonia. And these are the primary cells actually which undergo the meiotic cell division. They undergo the meiotic cell division, and they undergo maturation, as well as they undergo maturation in order to actually produce your spermatozoa. In order to produce your spermatozoa. They are the ones which are forming the spermatozoa in the later periods. So it's going to be these seminiferous tubules lined up by cuboidal germinal epithelial tissue, which is going to form up these Sertoli cells. And you can see these spermatogonia present over here. We could see the even the functions of them. And children, another thing is, if you're going to look at the lobule, we can see at most like 1 to 3 of these seminiferous tubules. Okay, if this is one lobule, okay, if this is one lobule here, you can see 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules. So let me write, these are the seminiferous tubules. You could see what are seminiferous tubules having. Now the next thing that you want to I want you to know is, in between the seminiferous tubules, the space here is being called as your interstitial space, and the cells present here are being called as interstitial cells. Interstitial cells we are going to call, and these interstitial cells can otherwise be called as the Leydig cells. Okay children, they are being called as a Leydig cells, and these Leydig cells are going to actually, they are going to secrete the hormone, the male hormone, which is being called as testosterone. This is important for us now to understand. So these Leydig cells are working like endocrine cells, right? They are like working like endocrine cells because they are secreting testosterone, which is responsible for the secondary sexual characters in the males, like the development of the beard, the mustache, the deep voice that you are going to see. But we all have to know that the interstitial cells are under the influence of whom, they are under the influence of the luteinizing hormone secreted by your pituitary gland. Okay, so due to which they are secreting the what you call as testosterone. And the production of the sperms are under the influence of what? Under the influence of follicle stimulating hormone secreted by your pituitary gland. So these are the important things. So the production of the sperms are under the influence of follicle stimulating hormone, and the testosterone secretion is under the influence of your luteinizing hormone. So these are the basic things that you need to understand. Now what I'll do is, children, let me come to a slide where I can actually show you what are the other structures when we are going to watch the histology of the testis. Okay, so look here. Now these seminiferous tubules are going to give rise to some tubes called as straight tubules, which join together to form inside the testis called as a rete testis. And these again give rise to the tubules called, and this structure will be the vasa efferentia, which join together to form this epididymis. Epididymis. Let me come to more clear picture here. Okay, children. So you can see here, these are the seminiferous tubules. Can you see these? These are the seminiferous tubules. I told you there might be 1 to 3, okay? Sometimes only one, sometimes there might be 3 of them together. And these are the straight tubules or arising from the seminiferous tubule. And these straight tubules are going to join together as a rete testis, which are going to form your tubules called as efferent ductules. When you enter your medicine, you learn them as efferent ductules, which is being called as epididymis. Okay, these are the vasa efferentia actually. The efferent ductules are the vasa efferentia, children. I want you to remember that. So the straight tubules from the seminiferous tubules are forming up rated testes, and rated testes are giving rise to the tubules, which are forming up the efferent ductules called as vasa efferentia, which join together to form this structure called as epididymis. And later you can see the long muscular tube which develops up, which is being called as your vasa deferens or sperm duct, that you can see the vas deferens, and this is a spermatic cord that you can see. But this tube here is going to be that is arising is going to be the vas deferens. Okay, so these are the ones I needed to speak, children. Let me show you the epididymis, which is also important in examination point of view for you all. So if you remember, I was talking about the epididymis. So here you can see that this is your testis. This is the testis, where you can see the formation of the rete testis and the formation of the vasa efferentia. Then you could see the epididymis. So if you're going to look at these, so this is going to be the efferent ducts, which are the vasa efferentia. Later they are togetherly forming up this particular epididymis. So the head of the epididymis, this structure that you are able to see here, this is the head. So the head of the epididymis is going to be called as a caput, C-A-P-U-T, caput. Okay, and later you are going to have the body which is becoming narrowed down. Okay, this is a body of the epididymis that you can see here. So this is your body, and the body is being called as a corpus. It's been called as corpus, and later you can see the tail of the epididymis. Here is a tail that you can see, and the tail is being called as a chorda, which is again wider. What are wider, children? Here the head is wider, which is caput. Okay, and even the tail, which is caudus, is also wider, whereas the corpus, which is a body, is narrow. So this is the actual epididymis. So you can see here the seminiferous tubules giving our rise to the straight tubules, forming the vasa efferentia. Okay, the rete testis and the vasa efferentia, then into this long structure, which is a epididymis, which has its caput head, which has its corpus body, and it has its tail, which is being called as a chorda. So these are the things I wanted you to learn about for the examination point of view. And now let me show you if I have some other slides which can help you in understanding. Yeah, so now coming on to this particular thing. Yeah, this slide is going to give you the basic thing. So you can see the testis. Okay, the seminiferous tubules, the rete testis, the vasa efferentia. Here see the vasa efferentia. Later you can see the formation of the epididymis over the testis here. If you look at these, the cross section of the seminiferous tubule, children, here you can see that they are going to have the Sertoli cells. Okay, and these Sertoli cells are going to be the ones which are going to nurse them. These are the two. This is one of the seminiferous tubule. This is the other seminiferous tubule. In between, you have an interstitial space where you are having some specialized polygonal cells, polygonal, multiple phased polygonal cells, which are the Leydig cells or the interstitial cells. Okay, and we all know that the Sertoli cells are nursing, and the Leydig cells are secreting the testosterone like endocrine cells. Okay, and you can see that, as I told you, in between we are going to have, see, this is a Sertoli cell, and you can see the spermatogonia. And this spermatogonia are the ones which are going to further undergo the meiotic cell division, the maturation process, and they're going to release your spermatozoa. So you have these stages like spermatogonia giving rise to spermatocytes, later to the spermatids. Okay, so you can see in the lumen of the seminiferous tubule here. So these are the things when we speak about the what we call as the histology of the testis. We need to speak about these. Now, what I'll do is let me speak about one of the most important topics when we speak about the testis here, which is important for the examination point of view. So let me see whether I have covered up. No, yeah. So coming on to, remember children that till the 7th month. Okay, so let me take a rough sketch of that. So this is the umbilical cord portion. This is a testis, the scrotal sac, and this will be the back. So actually the testes are in the position in the abdominal cavity nearby to the kidney, and it's been held by a fibrous connective tissue, like this, into the scrotal sac. Okay, these are in the initial periods of the pregnancy, during the initial months of pregnancy. These are the initial months of pregnancy in a male embryo, which is developing inside the mother's uterus. But during the 7th month, the magic begins. What happens is this cord, which is a fibrous cord, this is your testis. This fibrous cord is none other than gubernaculum. This gubernaculum, during the month of 7th, it starts contracting. As it contracts, what happens is it's been pulled. So the testis is being pulled. So now you can see that the same here with the penile area, the scrotal sacs, the back. You can see that the testis is here, completely inside the scrotal sacs. So because of the contraction of this particular gubernaculum, the testes are being pulled into your scrotal sacs. This is what we can see. So this is important for you all to remember. But there are a few conditions where in a few of the kids, we see that this contraction fails and the testis doesn't descend into the scrotal sacs. And that condition is being called as cryptorchidism. Now, this is important. This fibrous cord is important. Which month is bringing the contraction due to which the testis is being descendant into the scrotal sacs here. So these are the topics, children, I wanted you to know about in the histology of these testes of the male reproductive system. And the testes are being moved into the scrotal sacs through a canal, and that canal is being called as inguinal canal. The canal through which the testis is going to descend is going to be called as inguinal canal. The canal through which the testes are being descendant into the scrotal sacs is going to be the inguinal canal. I hope, children, you all have understood the histology of the testis. I hope you have even got a clear idea by looking at the slides that I needed to show you all. If you all have liked the video, please do hit the like button. Try to comment in the comment section how you liked the video. And do please share my channel and subscribe my channel. Thank you all.